How to focus. The world needs more focus. You need a little bit more focus, and we all kind of need a little bit more focus. But by trying to find more focus, it just makes us more distracted. So it's just this endless cycle of trying to focus, trying to lock in, trying to concentrate a little bit harder on our work, and as a result, getting more overwhelmed and feeling less focused and just creating more complexity in our lives so that it's more difficult to actually do the things that we need to get done. So, how do you actually focus? What are the first principles of it, and how can you do it more easily in your life so that you can get more done while working less and spending more time doing things you actually want to be doing? Well, it comes down to some very basic principles that you've probably heard before, but you just need to actually understand how to do, right? So I can sit here all day and tell you, oh, what is the science behind focus? What are like these hacks that you can do to focus? What are like some supplements you can take? But I'll tell you some actual behaviors that cost you nothing that you can do right now to actually improve your focus in your life. So the first principle is one thing. You gotta have one singular focus, one thing in your life to really dial in on. I know realistically most people have other things, other circumstances to deal with, other jobs, whether it's school, job, kids, family, partners, whatever it is, you have other circumstances in your life. I get it. But the idea behind one thing is that you're trying to minimize the amount of things that you have to do in your life, because there are things that you do in your life that are totally unnecessary. If we're being completely honest with each other here, you do things on a daily basis that you probably don't have to do. Like, you don't have to scroll through social media. You don't have to have Instagram on your phone. You don't have to have TikTok on your phone. You choose to have it on your phone for whatever reason, right? Maybe you feel you say that it's therapeutic to scroll through TikTok, but maybe that's just coping, right? So there's things you can remove from your life that will help you to have a little bit more focus. And the big thing that a lot of people say is, or a lot of the things that people try to do to find focus is add to their life, right? They try to add supplements, they try to add caffeine, they try to add different woo-woo magic affirmations and warm-up routines and cold plunges. They just add, and as a result of it, they lose focus because they're adding more complexity to their life. They're adding more things to do. So to have focus, you must first subtract. So think about the things that you do on a daily basis, and the bigger the thing that you can remove, the more focus that you can have. So think about the really time-consuming, energy-intensive things that you do on a daily basis that you could potentially reduce the amount of time doing it or completely remove it, and then start digging down even deeper to like your routines, the kind of one-off things that you do every day that don't take as much time but could just be completely cut out to save you a little bit of time and give you a little bit of breathing room, right? And just cut those out one by one. You don't have to do them all at one time and go cold turkey. That's just very unrealistic. Pick one little thing. I mean, you can start small here. Pick like one tiny little thing that you do every day that you can just remove. So that could easily be like scrolling social media, whatever it is, right? Remove that thing and just build the muscle of not having that thing in your life anymore. Just reverse the habit of doing that thing, and eventually you have that time freed up. And this stacks. So initially it won't feel like you're getting more focus, but the more you remove, the more you'll realize that the things that you actually want to focus on deserve a lot more attention, and the things that you don't want to focus on require none of your attention. Or if they do require attention, then you can potentially automate it or delegate it in some way to somebody else. So yes, that's first principle of focus, is picking one thing or picking a few things that you genuinely want to focus on whether that's your relationships and your work, or whether it's like your exercise and your health, like whatever it is, pick a few focuses, ideally just one, and invest most of your time and energy into that and cut out everything else. The next principle is no distractions. So this is what I was talking about with cutting out things, subtracting, right? You want to subtract complexity from your life because things just stack up and take your time, take your money, take your energy, and as a result, you just feel like you're all over the place, right? You're a little bit here, you're a little bit there, you're an inch deep and a mile wide. You're everywhere all at once, and once you achieved certain levels of success, that's probably okay to be diversified across a lot of things because that's just naturally who you are. But right now, when you're on the way up, you need focus. You need to be able to stick to just one thing and focus on one thing. And it's very hard to focus on one thing when you're just constantly distracted and getting bombarded by notifications and getting bombarded by people expecting things of you. So you need to cut out distractions, right? We already talked about social media. It's one of the biggest distractions of society. I've already talked about social media a lot, but I think it's just completely unnecessary. It creates a lot of negative associations in our brain. It's really easy to get down the rabbit hole. It's really easy to lose time without even realizing it when you're on social media. So one by one, just start limiting your screen time, limiting the amount of usage that you put onto these apps, and eventually you want to scale it back to the point where you don't even need the apps anymore and you can just delete them. And that is one single distraction that most people have in their life that if they remove it, they would get probably an hour or two back into their life. So that's probably the highest ROI distraction you could remove. But you can think about all the other small things that you do that kind of distract you from your main focus and just try to minimize them or eliminate them, put them out of sight so they're out of mind, and just like start reversing that habit until eventually you reach that level where, okay, I am locked in. I don't have other things to distract me anymore. I'm just focused on this one thing. And then the next principle is working open to goal. So this is a thing that Alex Hormozi was talking about on a podcast that one of the really successful gym owners that he used to work with used for his sales managers. And so the idea behind open to goal is that you have a goal that you want to achieve every single day or every single week. And regardless of how long it takes, that's how long it takes. So if you reach that goal within the first 2 hours or within the first day of the week, then you're done. You can call it off. You can call out. You can dip. But if it takes you the entire week, all 120 hours, it takes you 120 hours, and it takes you from the first thing in the morning to 12 a.m. at night, however long it takes for you to reach the goal, the thing that you're focusing on, right? Then that's how long it takes. So, and the way you measure this is by determining an input, right? So whatever your one thing, what the thing that you're focusing on is, think about an input that's, tangible and quantifiable so that you can measure your input progress. And just figure out how to directionally align that input with the output. So you can test out different inputs and see which ones actually get you closer to your goal, which ones actually got results that got you closer to your goal, and then just double down on those and set a quantitative metric for every single day that you want to hit, a quantitative goal that is going to align with that input so that you will get closer to your output. And so every day you will work open to goal towards that number. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. If you finish within the first 2 hours, then you're done. And that's it. So that's another way to focus, because instead of telling yourself, oh, I need to hit this number within the next hour, you feel the time pressure and you might produce more mediocre work. You might not try your hardest to do it. So time pressure is not necessary. Just open a goal until you hit the input number. So this gives you a lot more freedom. It doesn't feel as overwhelming, and you still make a ton of progress because you're still showing up and hitting the number. You're hitting the quality metric and the quantity metric. Finally, the last principle for focus is extending your time, the time horizon, right? You need to realize that focus takes time. That if you want to cut out distractions, it's going to take time because you can't just cut out everything at one time. If you want to focus on something and actually achieve something great, it takes time. You can't just expect it to magically appear, right? It's not just going to magically, poof, like you cut out everything, you focus for a few days. It's not just suddenly going to come up to you. It's probably going to take months, if not years, to see the rewards of your focus. You're not going to be able to reap any crazy reward from doing a month's worth of focus. A month's worth of focus can compound, but like compound interest, like compound anything, it takes time, right? So if you just accept the fact that, okay, this will take time, but I am putting in my ticket now. I'm investing into the stock now so that it can compound over, a longer period of time, and then eventually I'll start to see returns from these inputs. As long as I just do these inputs, I open a goal, I've figured out what inputs actually work. As long as I do that, then I'm good. I will achieve what I want to achieve. I'll hit the goal. The one thing I'm focusing on will be absolutely progressed. Like, we will make so much progress towards this one thing because of the fact that I've extended the amount of time I've been working on it, and I've been consistently showing up to do the open to goal work. That's how you focus. It's not complicated, If you think about it behaviorally, it's just literally write down a piece of paper the one or two things that you really want to focus on right now in your life, and then on another piece of paper, write down everything that you do in your everyday life, every little task, every little distraction, everything you do from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to bed. What do you do on an average day? And then really think about what you can cut out completely. Those are the distractions. And then find a way to open a goal. So quantify your inputs that will get you closer to your goal, and then every single day strive towards reaching that number without regard for how long it takes. And then finally, extend your time horizon. So you want to give yourself enough time to actually achieve the goal. You need to give yourself enough time to reach a level of focus, to cut out distractions. And this doesn't happen in a day, it doesn't happen in a week, it doesn't happen in a month. It happens over the span of several months, if not years. Goodbye.